Coming up on the Hilton Head News, more plans to halt beach erosion on Hilton Head Island. We'll have details. Also ahead, Charlie Clark talks about the importance of small businesses, attracting and keeping them here on Hilton Head Island and the Low Country. Stand by, the Hilton Head News is next. Welcome to the Hilton Head News. I'm Ally McNair. Efforts to prevent beach erosion on the island's heel near Port Royal Plantation continue. That means dump trucks moving sand on that stretch of beach may soon become a regular sight again, possibly as soon as this fall. Director of Public Projects Scott Ligget has details.
We've been monitoring a relatively small area there along the Port Royal coastline, roughly 1,500 feet in length, where the erosional signal really has not matched, let's say, the performance of the other areas. We're losing sand in this area on average at about 30 feet a year. The high water line is retreating. And so what we're contemplating is taking action, trucking sand into this location, about 25,000 yards, and we're in the process of making a permit application to do that.
Ligget says there's a bank of sand that's accumulating offshore, and that could sweep inshore to solve the erosion problem naturally. But he says waiting to see if that might happen could be risky. Well, last week, the Beaufort County Council approved a $152,000 mid-year budget increase for the 14th Circuit Solicitor's office. That budget increase was approved by a 9-2 vote. 14th Circuit Solicitor Duffy Stone says he plans to ask for $1.4 million in the 2014 budget, which takes effect July 1st. He explains why.
We have to have good people. We have to retain good people as well as just recruit and train them. We're doing a very good job of recruiting talent. I have resumes on my desk from people literally all around the country. We're training them. We're spending a lot of money and effort training these people, but we don't have a livable salary. We don't have the money to keep them and create a career path. And so these people we're literally training people to go in other directions. Our mid-range salary in Beaufort County is less than some solicitors' offices are paying as entry. And I think we can do better than that. We need to be able to not only attract good people, but also keep them.
The council begins debate on the full 2014 budget plan in several weeks. The South Carolina Attorney General's office has found evidence that money from Hilton Head Island investors, which they believed was paying for a grass farm and timber operations, was instead paying for shopping trips to Victoria's Secret and Macy's. The Island Packet reports that the Securities Division of the State AG's office says it has found evidence that John McIntyre of Hilton Head Island, manager of 7 limited liability corporations, spent investors' money on personal expenses. That money was supposed to go toward a startup biofuel business called Silver Oak Energy and several timber cutting operations in South and North Carolina. According to the cease and desist order, investors' money was used for dining, jewelry, groceries, wine, liquor, and trips to a pet hospital and kennel. The findings by the Attorney General's office are not final. McIntyre has until later this month to request a hearing with the division, present evidence, and refute those claims. Well, if you know of someone who should be recognized for extraordinary contributions to the community, you can nominate that person to the 2013 Hilton Head Island Hall of Fame. The Rotary Club of Hilton Head Island is now accepting nominations with a June 4th deadline for submissions. The selection of recipients will be made by an anonymous group of well-established Hilton Head Island residents. Judging criteria include significance of accomplishments, dedication based on scope and length of activities, leadership and pioneering nature, and the nominees' awards, honors, and other recognitions on Hilton Head Island. Now here's a look at news from around the region. A group of South Carolina mothers held a rally at the State House on Sunday to honor people killed by gun violence. Members of Moms Demand Action for Gun Sense in America launched a Mother's Day campaign focused on honoring gun violence victims and their families. Organizers met at the State House to release a Mother's Bill of Rights, which lays out rights that the moms want to protect their children from guns. Well, Beaufort Mayor Billy Kaiserling says the city will hold watch parties for Candace Glover's final 2 nights on American Idol this week. Buford's Performing Arts Center will host a viewing party Wednesday for that show. City officials will also hold a viewing party for the 2-hour season finale Thursday, either at the Highway 21 Drive-In or at the Henry C. Chambers Waterfront Park. St. Helena Island native Candace Glover and Woodville, Texas native Cree Harrison are that show's finalists. Now, when we return, Charlie Clark on attracting and retaining small businesses here in the Low Country. Also, Lynne Hummell has details about a major company thinking of coming to Beaufort County. Stay right there.
The Westin Hilton Head Island Resort and Spa is celebrating its grand renewal. Relax and unwind at the totally renovated resort featuring new pools, lush gardens and courtyards, guest rooms, ballroom, main lobby, conservatory, and more. Enjoy family fun on the beach, improve your game with unparalleled golf, indulge your senses with newly inspired low-country cuisine in our refreshed restaurants including Oceanfront View 32 and Barony Bar, and rejuvenate at the Heavenly Spa. Stay for a night, a weekend, or more at the Westin Hilton Head Island Resort and Spa. Be well, be Westin.
Recently, we had a chance to ask Charlie Clark, Vice President of Communication for the Hilton Head Island Bluffton Chamber of Commerce, about how small businesses impact both the state and local economies. Charlie talked about ways we can attract and retain small businesses both around the state and here in our area.
Hi, Ally.
I know you want to talk today about small businesses and the impact of them in the area on the state level as well. Can you talk about that?
Sure. You know, we often forget that what happens at the federal level and the state level has a big impact on what happens in low country business. Just recently, Kaufman and Associates, as well as a leading business website, have noted that South Carolina is one of the top 10 places to do business in the country, which is a great ranking for us. They ranked overall in a way that we can all understand. South Carolina received an A-, which is great to be in the A level in terms of our commitment to small business and helping small business grow for South Carolina and for the Low Country.
How does that compare with past rankings?
Well, you know, it's up actually. Rankings, I think last year were at the B level. I think there was a B+ to an A-, so it's always great to be going in an upward direction. And what it really means is when they did these surveys, Ally, they interviewed small businesses. They didn't interview government, they interviewed those people who were impacted, the people that you deal with day in and day out on a small business level. Those are the people who said whether or not this was a great place to do business, and those are the folks who are ranking us at the A level for South Carolina.
It's all about attracting and also retaining businesses. Charlie, you know that better than anyone else, but in terms of small businesses, what opportunities are available here for ones that are already established in the community? You
know, I'm always surprised at the number of people who don't take advantage of all the opportunities they have in their community. Anybody who's been a chamber member for a while will tell you really do sort of get out of it what you put into it. There is no shortage of opportunities, whether you want to learn how to grow your business, whether you want to learn how to network. I mean, the Chamber's Small Business Week is happening here right around the corner. Lots of opportunities for whatever your question may be or whatever your need may be, whether it's exposure to garner for your business, learning how to market more. There's really an opportunity here in the Low Country, so we really encourage everybody to check out what's available so you can help your business grow.
Charlie Clark, Vice President of Communications for the Hilton Head Island Bluffton Chamber of Commerce, thanks so much.
Thanks, Ally.
Lynne Hummell joins me from the Hilton Head Sun. Hi, Lynne.
Hi.
I know you've got some information on the latest stories making news. The first one has to do with a law in the books that might actually encourage some interesting business here in South Carolina.
That's right. Last week, Governor Nikki Haley signed the film rebate bill into law, a move that is expected to draw more filmmakers to the state by making us more competitive with other locations. This law will increase the rebate on salaries from 15% to 20% or 25% if the film companies hire South Carolina residents for anybody who makes a film or TV show here. And this rebate will have a zero impact on taxes, but it is expected to bring in millions in revenue, plus create more jobs. The Beaufort Regional Chamber of Commerce and also the Beaufort Film Festival leaders are really excited about this because they've had a lot of producers recently who have been interested in locations there. And of course, we know The Big Chill was filmed over in Beaufort and parts of Forrest Gump, so it's kind of an exciting time.
Yeah, and I mean, there's so many scenic, beautiful areas here in the state. It'll be fun to see who ends up making films here.
Absolutely.
There's some secrecy right now with regards to a major business that Beaufort County is courting with some financial incentives. Can you tell us about that?
I can tell you a little bit about that because the officials aren't really talking about it too much. They're saying that they don't want to jeopardize the negotiations that are already underway with this business that has been unnamed, but they have offered incentives worth about $850,000 for the business to either move or expand here. They won't say exactly where their location is now. The county has said that the money would be for a piece of industrial equipment that the business would use, but they're not calling it anything but Project Robot. They say that
interesting name. I can't figure out too much from that name, but you know, it's always fun to think about.
Exactly.
Accolades, they still keep coming in for Hilton Head Island High School. What's the latest?
That's right. Hilton Head High School, along with neighboring Bluffton High School, has been ranked in the top 4% of the nation's most challenging high schools in their academic programs. Hilton Head High was ranked 9th and Bluffton was ranked 12th in the state in the Washington Post's annual list of America's most challenging high schools. It was the third consecutive year for both of the schools to be on the list.
Well, Lynne Hummell, as always, great to talk to you and get some information on the latest stories making headlines. We appreciate your time.
Thank you, Ally.
When we return, what is the big deal about stormwater runoff? We'll find out. Also, Mary Amonitti has the latest news from Daufuskie.
I'm here at the top of the Harbortown Lighthouse with Nadia Wagner. She's the lighthouse keeper. Nadia, this is a Hilton Head icon, but many people don't realize it's so much more.
It is, Debbie. The view is so thrilling. Many people don't realize you can climb to the top. We've had many marriage proposals, even weddings. You can shop at the top for gifts you won't find anywhere else and wave to friends and family on our live webcam. It's the high point of the Low Country.
You do not want to miss this view. What's the admission cost, Nadia?
It's only $375 per person, and kids 5 and under are free.
Make this a must-see while you're here on Hilton Head. Thanks, Nadia.
Thank you. See you soon.
Think about your yard or business. Do you have storm water runoff? Because if you do, you could be causing more pollution than you realize. Here to tell us or explain what I'm talking about is Laura Lee Rose. She is the Consumer Horticulture and Water Resources Agent with Clemson Extension. Laura Lee, thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks for having me, Ally.
Let me ask you, what is the problem with stormwater runoff?
Well, the rainfall that falls normally on the ground would penetrate into the soil, but when we have surfaces, hard surfaces like rooftops, development where there are sidewalks and streets, that stormwater will run off into storm drains and can eventually get into the estuary.
And what kinds of things does it sometimes contain that cause a problem?
It can contain lots of different contaminants. It could contain things off of cars, tires, rubber, oil, antifreeze. It could contain pesticides, and that would include fertilizers or any chemicals that are spread on the lawn.
So what can people do that live in Beaufort County to prevent adding to the whole issue of stormwater runoff?
Well, firstly, we would like for people to test their soil before they add any fertilizer and know the right time to apply fertilizer when the plants need it. We also would like people to not use fertilizers or pesticides near the marsh or even near the edges of their property.
And you also recommend something known as environmentally friendly landscaping. What does that mean?
Well, environmentally friendly landscaping would include using native plants, using vegetative buffers wherever there are places that abut the lagoons or waterways, using less pesticide, using responsible irrigation so that the irrigation doesn't flow into the street.
And why do people fertilize, and is it necessary to do so if you've got warm season grasses? Some people do it up to 4 times a year.
Warm season grasses go dormant in the wintertime, so there's no point. In fact, it can do damage to the warm season grasses to fertilize in the fall if you have a late flush of growth that wasn't properly hardened off and you had an early frost. That could harm it. So most of our warm season grasses, the centipede and St. Augustine, are low fertility, requiring very low nitrogen.
Now, if someone says, gee, my stormwater is fresh and it's not polluted, is that still a problem?
That is a problem because we're unique here in Beaufort County. We're an estuary, and the water in the estuary should be salty and not fresh.
Well, Laura Lee, I want to thank you so much. Laura Lee Rose is the Consumer Horticulture and Water Resources Agent with Clemson Extension. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
With the news about Daufuskie, we have with us Mary Amonitti. Great to see you, Mary.
Great to see you as well, and it's a great day here in South Carolina.
Well, I know you've got some information on the groundbreaking that's scheduled for the Daufuskie Community Park. Tell us about that.
Well, the Daufuskie Community Park award, the contract has been awarded to Hutton Brothers Construction, and they're expecting them to break ground after May 15th. And in a couple of weeks, I should be back here and telling you when the ribbon cutting ceremony will be.
Well, we will look forward to hearing about that. Give us some information, if you could, as far as details regarding improving Daufuskie's public ferry services.
Well, the Community Preservation Zone Association have put in a request to Beaufort County to allow the school students and the Daufuskie Island residents to ride the same boat. The contract is coming up for an end and will be rebidded, and there is another company that's interested in bidding on that ferry system with the county so that we can perhaps provide better service to Daufuskie for visitors as well as the Daufuskie Island residents that do not live in Hegg Point.
You had a lot of visitors back at the end of April for the Marsh Tacky Daufuskie Beach races. Tell us how that went.
That was fabulous. We had a wonderful time. Lots of people showed up. I met people from Wisconsin, Michigan, people that came up from Atlanta, Florida, just to be there on the island for the races, and it was wonderful. The only complaint we had was a little bit about the transportation. That's why we so desperately need a ferry system in this area to go between perhaps Savannah to Daufuskie, Hilton Head to Beaufort, and perhaps all the way up to Charleston.
Now, Bluffton has its farmers market. Hilton Head Island has its as well. Farmers market in the works, are getting ready to get going on Daufuskie?
Yes, May the 25th is going to be the date, and it's a great thing for the local farmers in this area, and it's good for people's health. They're going to have healthier food, and they're going to have fresher foods, and they will be primarily locally grown.
Well, it sounds wonderful. As always, Mary Amonitti, we appreciate your time. We thank you for joining us on the Hilton Head News with the latest on Daufuskie Island.
Thank you.
And when we return, Nancy Watts tells us where we can go on Hilton Head Island and beyond. We'll be right back.
I'm here at the top of the Harbortown Lighthouse with Nadia Wagner. She's the lighthouse keeper. Nadia, this is a Hilton Head icon, but many people don't realize it's so much more.
It is, Debbie. The view is so thrilling. Many people don't realize you can climb to the top. We've had many marriage proposals, even weddings. You can shop at the top for gifts you won't find anywhere else and wave to friends and family on our live webcam. It's the high point of the Low Country.
You do not want to miss this view. What's the admission cost, Nadia?
It's only $3.75 per person, and kids 5 and under are free.
Make this a must-see while you're here on Hilton Head. Thanks, Nadia.
Thank you. See you soon.
If you're wondering where to go on Hilton Head Island and beyond, we have the answer for you from Nancy Watts, who joins me on the Hilton Head News. Hi, Nancy.
Hi there, Ally. How are you?
Great, thank you. People that appreciate flowers, plants, love to garden, they have something on tap they can do this weekend, right?
Yes, they have. It's the All Saints Episcopal Church Tour, and if it's anything like it's been in the past, you have so much to look forward to.
It is great. I actually went last year. It involves going to different people's homes, and they let you walk around their gardens, which is really neat to see what work they've done. They have some food, bake sale, and they sell some plants too, right?
They do sell some plants. They a couple of years ago, I think there were some roses that I thought, oh, if I could make my roses do that, I bet there wasn't a bug on a rose anywhere.
Well, I bet you get some good advice at that garden tour too. And that one's Saturday, Nancy?
It's coming up this Saturday. It starts about 10 o'clock, and you can check it out all day long. In fact, you could just spend the day touring gardens, stopping to have lunch at the church, going back for I think they're having some seminars and even a concert.
Oh, it sounds great.
There's a lot to do.
It sounds great, and horse lovers are going to be happy over the weekend, right? Because they have something special, or anyone that loves to watch folks and horses in action, right, on Sunday?
It's polo, and it's on Sunday, and you can bet Ivor Welton will be right there. She has been so involved with this for years and years, but there's so many wonderful people and so many beautiful horses to see.
And that's over at Rose Hill?
Rose Hill. They'll have dressage, they'll have a tour, they'll have a parade of horses, and of course they'll have food. You can have a drink, have some food, and then the polo match starts about 2:30, and you'll have a good time.
Well, that sounds great. If people are thinking more about being out on the water and boating, that's happening too, right?
Oh, yes, it's this weekend. You know, they stopped having that for a while, and then Windmill Harbor picked it back up, and there's no more beautiful place to go. It's sort of a little sneaky because it's off the beaten path, but they'll let you come in and see all those gorgeous boats that are in the water, plus gorgeous boats that are out on the side.
That sounds like fun. And then finally back to nature here, and butterflies. Tell me about that.
Oh, you've got to go see the butterflies Mondays and Wednesdays at the Coastal Discovery Museum. Plus, they're going to teach you how to throw a cast net a couple of times this month. They'll also have trips around the Pinckney Island to see the beautiful Pinckney Island Resort out there. It's not really a resort, it's really more of a
wildlife refuge.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I needed that.
Well, that's good. The only reason I know it, Nancy, is I actually went on one of their bird watches recently. It was great. So they always have great programs there.
They certainly do.
Well, it's always great to see you. Nancy Watts joining us here on the Hilton Head News, telling us where to go. We appreciate it. Thanks so much.
I just loved it.
And we want to thank you for watching the Hilton Head News. I'm Ally McNair. We will see you the next time.